In this unit, I'd like to cover some of the intricacies of pie charts, just to make sure that all that's clear. Pie charts are different than column charts and line charts. They have a little bit of limitations. I'm using the select data spreadsheet that I created after the select data recording, which is the first one for Unit 4. But just in case, let's start over and just do a little quick review on how to create a pie chart. So I'm going to delete this pie chart sheet. Yes, I know what I'm doing. Go back to the sample page, and just in case you are back at sample 1, if you wish, you can start with sample 1. By now you should have a pretty good handle on how to fill those in and how to fill these dates in. All that should already be done. And then last but not least, I created these totals down at the bottom. Remember, I highlighted the cells and then hit the auto sum button, and it calculates all of them at once. I want to create a pie chart. Remember that pie charts show a percentage of the whole. Very common mistake with a pie chart is to include a total. I can create an auto sum here as well that tells me the grand total of all my sales. Pie charting these pieces of data would be a very bad idea because I have totals for each region and then a grand total. This grand total is a total of all of these. It will always be 50% of the pie chart, always. And so again, as I mentioned in the last recording, it's a bad idea to graph regular data with totals. Now, these are totals, right? But they are a total for each region, and this is the total for the entire company. That's a different kind of total. Not a good idea to bring those together. Sometimes it's difficult to select a multiple. I want the captions of these to go with. And just as a review, let's say I create a pie chart of this and I forget that I want my region 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 captions. I'm going to go to charts. I'm going to say I want a pie chart. And here's my pie chart, but I forgot the regions, darn it. Two ways I can fix this. First, I can go to select data and I can click edit, because here's my region 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'd be nice to have the word region on there. And then simply scroll to the top and highlight these and say, there's my labels, and that should fix my pie chart. My pie chart's way down at the bottom. One of the things the book likes to do is have you move this into another sheet in a different location, and it makes it kind of complicated, I think. I think the easiest way to move these sheets, is to select them and then cut them to the clipboard. Okay. That sheet is now on my clipboard, and if I want to put it in cell I2, what I suggest you do is click in cell I2 and then press Control V. If you do that, the upper left-hand corner of the chart will go in the upper left-hand corner of I2. So when the book tells you to locate your chart here, my favorite technique is to cut it to the clipboard and then click in the cell where it's supposed to be the upper left-hand corner, and that way this corner is already set. You're still going to play around with this corner down here, make it bigger, smaller, wider, whatever you need to do, right? But that'll get you closer to home quicker. And notice now my region names are in here. Okay, but let's say that, well, it's too late. The other way I could have done is just start over. And so, remember I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Easiest way sometimes with charts, if you forget to select the right data, is just to start over again. So what I'm going to do is start over. I'm going to split my screen like I did in the last recording so that I can see my totals down at the bottom and my region titles up here at the top. So I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to split the screen because there's so much room in between. Scroll down to the bottom. Where'd they go? There they are. Select my region titles, and then Control drag over these to select them at the same time. Sorry, I missed the Control key. There we go. Now I've got them. And now notice when you do that, though, this is called a collection of cells because they're not a range. A range are cells that are right next to each other. These are in row 4. These are in row 156. That's a collection of cells. The quick analysis tool does not pop up, so you have to insert a chart instead. So here's my pie chart, and I kind of like 3D pie charts, so I'm going to select that. To get rid of my split view, just click in there someplace, go back to view, and turn it off. Another thing I like to do with my charts is not bury them inside a spreadsheet, though it's not bad if you want to see the data at the same time that you're looking at the chart. But I will often move my charts to a separate chart sheet. Go to the Chart Tools Design tab, move the chart into a sheet, and I'll call this my pie chart. And now it's in a completely separate sheet, and I can use this to show you some of the things that you can do to manipulate pie charts. First thing you can do is manipulate the chart title. You're probably going to do that just about every single time, because who wants a chart title that says chart title? Easiest way to do it is simply double click, or single click, excuse me. Single click it, and then up here in your formula bar, the new thing that you type will appear. I single clicked it, so I'm going to type in here Volcker or region summary. As soon as I press enter, it changes this. This happens on all charts, by the way. This is not a pie chart thing. Every chart has a title. You can remove it. You can change it by clicking it and just start typing. You don't have to click in the formula bar. Just click here, start typing. If you need to edit it, click here, edit, press enter, you're done. I want to make it a little bigger, go to the home tab, and I can go to the font and try 24, and that looks better. Notice that as you change the size of things, the chart itself changes. The size of the chart changes to adapt so that everything still fits on the page. The other thing you can do is change the background color of the charts. There are two things that make up the background of most charts. There's a chart area. And if I click on that, notice this changes. This is the formatting pane. If you don't see this, just double click someplace and it'll show up. All right. If I click here, the formatting pane says format the chart area. If I click a little closer, there's something called the plot area. And notice as I touch it, I also get a tooltip. That helps. This now changes to format the plot area. Notice they're a little bit different. The chart area is all the way around. The plot area is what contains your graph. It doesn't include your legend. It doesn't include your title. I want to change the plot, or the chart area, excuse me. I'm going to change its fill. And if I had a picture around someplace, I would pick it. So I'm just going to go with a gradient fill. Book doesn't talk about this, and that actually looks pretty good. Notice it's a gradient is darker here, lighter there. You can tweak the different kinds of gradients. And again, this is not pie chart specific. You can change the background, the chart area of any kind of chart. All right, let's get into some pie chart specific things here. Oh, actually, before we do that, one more thing. Here's my legend. That legend has gotten kind of small. I want to make it a little bigger. So once again, I can click here and let's try a 14, and that makes them much easier to read. Got a little border around them because of the background color. Normally these would just be solid colors. Okay. So that's another thing you can do. You can hide this altogether by clicking on the legend and just pressing the delete key. You can also use the chart elements button to delete the legend. You can turn it off here. Most things, you want to get rid of the title, you can turn it off here, or you can click it, press the delete key, it'll go back or go away. If you want to bring it back, this is where you come to bring it back, add a chart element. So I'm going to leave the legend there, or I can move it. I think it looks good on the bottom, but notice if I click the little side arrow here, I get some choices. I can put it on the right. Not bad. Put it on the left. Also not bad. Top, nah. And some more options that you can look into if you wish. I'm just going to leave it at the bottom. It looks okay down there. What I now want to see is the data labels. And by the way, just about everything you see here, you can do from the Format tab. You can turn on elements from the Format tab. But I like these new little buttons. These are 2013 buttons that allow you to change the style. And the book covers that pretty thoroughly, so I'm not going to worry about it. You can also filter. We'll talk about that toward the end of the lesson, or the end of the recording, excuse me. And you can add chart elements. For the data labels, I want to turn them on. And now I got some choices. Where do I want the data labels? What I can't see here is what value is this? What value is that? What value is that? I can see what region they are, but I can't see what value they are. And these are all very, very close, so it'd be kind of nice to see what the values would be. Notice if I hover, I can see the value. That has a value of 87,000, and it has a percentage of 20. But if I want to actually display those on the chart, I can't. I can display them in the center. I can display them on the outside. Notice as you touch these, you get live preview, which is really cool. Right? They're kind of small, but we can see how to fix that. We can put them on the outside. Best fit, wherever seems to be best. Nice little touch. Right? Let's leave them on the inside end for right now and click on that. And if you click more options, it basically takes you to the data labels formatting pane. So for right now, I'm going to say I want them on the inside end. Now they're on and they're on the inside end. If I want to change any of these, I can click them. And notice now I'm formatting my data labels. I can change the background color if I want. Maybe if I make it to a solid fill of white, they'll be a little easier to see. That's not bad. We'd like to change the size. I'm sure there's someplace here where I could change the size, but normally change size, I'm going here to the Home tab, normal fonts. If I want to, I can change the way those numbers appear. I think that comes under, let's try label options. How do I want my numbers to appear? Right now they're appearing as general. I wonder, since I have them selected, I'm on the Home tab, can I change the way they appear here? I don't see any of the form. Oh, here, they're grayed out. So I'm going to have to do it here. I want these to appear as a number with 2 decimal places. No, I don't want any decimal places, but I do want the separator, and there'll definitely be no negatives. In a pie chart, there can't be negative values. There shouldn't be. I'm not sure how that would graph. So press enter, locks it all in. So there's one option. With the background color white, the numbers are now easy to read. You could also change the font color of the numbers to white. They should be a little easier to read. What we're displaying right now, though, is the values. And what if I want to display the percentages? Or what if I want to display these region names inside here? You can do that as well by, once again, selecting the data values and choosing the label options again, I think. No, it might be this one, excuse me. Those are margins. Text options, excuse me. Text options on the top. Sometimes you just got to look around. They hide. There's so much stuff we can do that it's sometimes very hard to find. Under text options, I get to choose what. No, I don't think that's what I'm looking for either. Still haven't found it. Hang on. Going back to the label options here. There we go. In the label, I just clicked on label options, not any of these, and then here's my data. Okay. And what do I want to see? Do I want to see the value? Do I want to see the percentage? If necessary, do I show leader lines? Okay. Do I want the series name or the category name? Okay, these are series names. I could show those. And notice now, I guess that's not right. But notice if you have all the flexibility you want here, now it says region 1, 2, 3. So if I don't want to look down here at these colors, I just want to see the words, I can add the words. I can add the percentages, okay, but I'll have to go in and tweak the way these percentages appear. Because I set these at no decimal places, and now I have two things. So I'm going to go away from the value. I just want to see the percentages. So now I can go down into the number place down here. One more time. And say I want these to appear as a percentage with 2 decimal places, but not a number, a percentage. 2 decimal places, and I can see them now as percentages. Another thing to recognize is what if I want one of these to really stand out? For some reason, here's the biggest one we've got, and I want to make that one really stand out. If I click again, notice now I've selected one label instead of all the labels. If I click outside and then click back in, I've now selected all 5 labels, and everything I'm doing affects all the labels, data labels. If I click on just one, after selecting them all, now I'm just modifying that one, and I can change its text color to red and make it stand out even more. This gray doesn't intrigue me very much here. If I want to select and change the color of one slice, it's the same thing as the data labels. When you first select the pie, the entire pie is selected. I can kind of tell by these little blue handles that are all the way around, including the one in the middle. If I want just this slice, I click again, please, and just this slice is selected. Notice the blue handles are away from there. Now I can use the fill option. Okay. And I want a solid fill, and I don't like the white, but maybe a shade of green would look okay. That's not bad. So you can change the color of any of these. You can make them gradients. You can actually put pictures in here if you want to. So if we had a headquarters building of region 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we could put that in here. That's an option. Okay. This is starting to bother me. It keeps hanging out here. How do you get rid of it? 2 ways. Just click the plus sign again or press the escape key and it'll go away. Occasionally you want things to stand out. You can do it with color, but you can also do it by making one of the pie slices jump out. So if I click on this slice, it is now the only slice that's selected. If I pull it away, notice it get a little dotted line, makes that slice of pie explode. The others are still attached, makes this one stand out. Maybe I want this important one down here at the bottom. You can do that by rotating it, and I think it might be here. Yep, the angle of the first slice, and we can change this angle until my orange and my yellow one's going the wrong direction. So I'm coming back this way. It's not going to let me. I'm going to have to rotate it a long way. So I'm going to try about 270 degrees. There. And then I can go more if I really want it at the bottom. You can change the angle of these things. Remember from the last unit, you can change the order of these things by going into the select data. Okay. And with these selected, no, I guess you can't move these up and down. In the column chart, you could move them up and down. Okay, so we've got the slice exploded. We've done the file. The other thing we can do is filter data from here. And let me just pause here for a second and make sure I know how to do that so I don't waste your time. To filter the data, you just use this filter button. Let's say that this region, the blue one here, which is region 1, is our oldest region, and it tends to skew the data. We want to see how the new regions are doing when it comes to total. I can remove it. Just pull it out, and it'll redraw the chart without that data in there. Please. Took it out. Series 1, and apply. And now, this has gone back to its original color, which is not too cool, but we can change it. But notice now that one region is gone. It's all part of the filtering. If I put the filtering back in, I can put it back in again and apply. And interesting that that goes back to its original color. Okay, so that's kind of the details of pie charts. You can do all kinds of cool things with them. I like the 3D pie charts just because of the way they look. There are ways. Here's the 3D format and the 3D rotation, and you can actually change the way they look, where the shadow is. Let's go back to the 3D rotation. Didn't talk about it. Don't want to spend too much time. But I can actually, using these arrows, rotate it in different ways. Less of a 3D. Okay, the X rotation is what we did to bring this yellow one down here. But notice I can flip it just about the other direction if I wanted to. Just look at the end. I don't know why I would want to do that. But you can do that. And we can change the perspective. Again, kind of the way we're looking at it, and you can make that gold one stand out. The problem with charting is if you try hard enough, you can actually make the data a little skewed. Can give it a little more depth. Most of the rest of the stuff you experiment with. The book doesn't ask you to do those things, but it is handy to know some of the things you can do. And when it comes to charting, if you can't find what you want to do, look around. It's in there someplace. You just got to find it.